Hello, my name is Logan, and today I'm going to show all of you how to change your character sprite, the music, your UI, and various other things that you can do to customize your experience in Pokemon Infinite Fusion. So over here in this folder, we've got the game, we've got this other folder, we've got some music, and we've got the full sprite pack. Now, if you're watching this video in the future, this full sprite pack may be a little different when you download it, but for the most part, this tutorial should stay the same. Nothing should change. So, when you get the full sprite pack, a lot of people just get this for the custom battlers. But there is a folder in here called Other, and that is something totally optional. And I'm going to show all of you what to do with this if you want to. So, I did open this up with WinRAR, in which you can do this, open with WinRAR. Of course, you have to have it downloaded, but you should already have like 7-zip or WinRAR if you downloaded the game already. So use your favorite extraction software, and I specifically chose the other folder to extract. So in here, there are a ton of folders. And all of this stuff is mainly optional content. Stuff you can use to tailor your Pokemon Infinite Fusion experience. So one of the very first things I want to do is show you how to change the music in your game. Now, this is going to be changing the background music. You can do this with any music file, any sound file in the game. So if you want to change sound effects, or other little things that are in the game, you can do this. But I'm just going to show all of you how to change the intro. So in the game folder, we want to go to audio, and then we're going to go to background music. Now there's going to be a lot of stuff in here, and it takes a lot of trial and error to really figure out what these are associated with. So I just know if we scroll down a little bit, let's see here. We want this here. So I believe the game uses MP3s. So if you see a .wav file, you know that's the wrong one. So what we're going to do is right click this. I'm gonna rename it, and then we're gonna right click again and copy. So I'm copying the name of this here, and then we're gonna go back. There's probably a faster way of doing this, but this way you guys can see the process. We're going to rename this guy. I'm going to right click in that blue square there, paste, and we're just going to hit enter. And what we're going to do now is cut this or copy, whatever you want to do. Go back in here, right click in a blank space, hit paste. So now we're replacing the file and the destination. There we go. So again, what we're going to do is do a bunch of stuff to our game. And then when I open the game finally, we'll do like a checklist to make sure I hit all the points. So what's next on the agenda? Showing character sprites. So in the other folder, there is a folder called alternate trainers. In here are a bunch of characters that you can switch your main sprite with, so you can sort of play as them. But I'm going to show all of you first, here in this base folder in characters, you have the original sprites. So you have to permanently replace the sprites to sort of switch them. Here are the original ones. So if you want to go back, you can always rename these. You just have to take out the original part in the name and put them back into your game folder, and it'll switch back. But as you can tell, this is only for the male character here. So we're going to go back. I'm going to show you two different ways to switch your character. There's a easy and a hard way, it seems like, in here. So I'm going to show you both. Deoxys is the easy way. They're already in these folders, and they have their sprites. So what we're going to do, you really just need to copy all these. So these are already set up in a way where the game will recognize these folders. So we're going to just highlight all of them. I'm going to right click and copy. And what we're going to do is go back, go into our game folder, under graphics. Those folders I copied are the same folders in here. So when I right click and I paste, it's going to ask to replace files because it's going to merge the folders together. And then in those folders are files that have the same name. So what we're going to do is replace the files in the destination. So now, oops, when we go back into the game, we should be looking like Deoxys. So one thing you'll notice too is that the music was successfully changed. We got that jazzy music playing in the background. All right, so we see Deoxys is in here, walking around. He's got his running animation. He's got his walking. Got that swag. And then if we go to the water over here, we can see he's got a surfing animation as well. So it looks like everything's working correctly. I don't think there's really anything else to show with Deoxys, but we know that works. We did it right. Now I'm going to show you a sort of more difficult situation if you're switching some of these sprites out. So Eevee here. You can see they're not separated into folders. They just have their files here. So you got to drop these into the right spot. Luckily, most of these are in the same area here. So I know that all these here, they go in the same spot. So what I'm going to do is right click, I'm going to copy, and then we're going to go back to our game, graphics, and then we're going to go into characters, and then right click and paste. And see, it is replacing the 6 files here. And we're good. So now we're going to go back and we're going to try to figure out, because I don't know off the top of my head how to replace some of these files, where they're located. So like this guy here, Pokemon Trainer Red Back. So this is the back of the trainer when they're in a battle. So I don't know where that's at, but if I rename him, but I copy it, I just want the text here. We're not changing it. And we go back into our game and just go into graphics because we know it's in there somewhere. We can do this. And then we can figure out where this is located. Let's see. Trying to figure out where you would see the file location. I guess you just right click and go to properties. You can do that. Details. So you can see it's in graphics trainers. There's probably a faster way of doing that, but that's one way. So what we're going to do is go back, other, alternate trainers, Eevee, and we're taking this guy, copying it, going into graphics, and then we wanted trainers. And then we're going to paste. Okay. And then we got one more. Alternate trainers, Eevee. We've got this one, the versus trainer. So again, we're going to copy. What we're going to do is just copy it. I'm just going to type that in. So I'm grabbing the sprite preemptively. And then we're going to go into graphics. Type in verse trainer. Oops, if I can spell right. Verse trainer 0. We can see the Deoxys one is still here. I still wish there was a way of going to this file within its folder. There has to be a way of doing that. Open file location. Great. And then we're going to do paste. Okay, so that had a little bit of extra steps added to it, and that's what I mean by it being more difficult. The files were not put into folders preemptively, where essentially you just drag and drop or copy and paste the folders within the graphics folder. That makes it really easy. The Eevee sprite just had its sprites there, and you had to figure out where to put them. So now we're going to open up Pokemon Infinite Fusion and make sure it works. Okay, So it looks like it's working. So that's the run animation. We got a little bit of walk. And then let's see if it surfs. Yep. Eevee swimming. And I guess another thing we can do is check this out and see what happens. Okay, my game's randomized settings were messed up, so I wasn't having any encounters. Okay, so we see we see the back of Eevee there. So everything's working. We got it working. Awesome. Okay, so for this next part of the video, I want to show all of you how to switch out the base sprite for Pokemon, the non-fused sprite. So in the other folder, there's a folder called base sprites. Now in here, they do have alternate sprites, sort of like the fused sprites. So that's what this A is, the B. Now in the most current version of the game, as of right now, 5.2.1, it says that there is a way of adding alternate sprites to base Pokemon sprites, but I can't figure it out. It does not work. So I might be doing something wrong, but you can still use these. It's just more of a permanent thing as opposed to something you can switch on the fly. So I kind of like this Charmander sitting down. So we're going to take him and we're going to copy and go back into our game folder, and under graphics, we're gonna go to battlers number 4. And what we're gonna do is just right click in an empty space, hit paste, and we can see here 4F. We want him to just say 4. So what we should do, actually, I'm just gonna delete him, rename him. Okay. So we're going to go into the game and see if it worked. All right, we're in the game and we can see that it worked. So we have Charmander here. He's sitting down. We gave him a new sprite. So usually you switch the alternate sprites here, but I can't figure it out. No matter how I rename the Pokemon, the alternate sprite doesn't show here. And I'll show you guys what I mean. So if any of you have figured it out, please let me know in the comments. So like if we look at Magnesaur here, we can see he has his original fuse sprite, and then we can see there's a custom sprite. So this is switching sprites. Generally you just put the A, B, C at the end of the file name, and it works, but I can't get it to work even though this version of the game is supposed to be able to do this. So again, let me know if you figured it out. So the next part of the tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to change some more like UI and some other things like that. So if we go to titles, we can see there's something here, and it looks like it's named correctly. So if I take this, copy it, and go into our game folder, graphics, titles, you can see a lot of title screens here, and even the loading screen. So this is what we're using right now. So if I right click and paste and replace it, there we go. We got something new. So I'll show you guys if that worked correctly in just a bit. But one thing I want to do is look here in the pictures. So the pictures folder in the main game basically has all the UI elements. So I want to change some of that. We're going to go to other, and then we're going to go into pictures. So they're categorized here. These are folders that do not exist in the pictures folder itself, I believe. They actually might. So what we'll do is we'll look for bag and boxes. But I'm trying to find something. Here we go. Something like this, or maybe these summary backgrounds. We'll replace the summary backgrounds. We'll see what this looks like. So what I'm going to do is copy these. And we're going to see if bag and boxes is a thing. Going back in the game folder, graphics, pictures. So here we want bag. And so there's no boxes. So I don't think those folders correspond to these. It's not something you would replace easily. But we grab the summary stuff. So here in summary, we can see the files here. So what I want to do is right click and paste and see what happens. So it didn't replace anything. So let's check it out. This is kind of like we're going to try problem solving this. So summary 1 here looks awfully alike. So BG1 is the same as summary 1. So if I wanted to replace it, we got to rename it. So this one is BG1. So I'm going to just delete it. Go here. Oops. Rename BG1. Oh, no. See? Got to make sure we do it right. BG1. Okay, so these other backgrounds though, I see. So they do switch. So we just keep renaming them. So delete this one. BG2. Of course, my keyboard is messing up. BG2. And then we're looking. What I'm doing, because the names are off, so I want to make sure we're doing this correctly. What I'm doing is looking. So it's looking at this middle one here. And this one's looking at the middle one. So this is BG3. And renaming BG3. That guy. That one. So we'll delete that. Also, at the end of the tutorial, I'll show how to basically reset everything and get it back to normal. So if you do all these changes and you don't like it, I'll show you how to fix that. So we want BG4. Okay. Ribbon. I'm trying to look for that. There's the ribbon. That's BG5. And we got the egg. So what was that called? BG egg. Oh, see, I didn't delete it. Okay, so we want to delete that. BG egg. Okay, this is learning a move. So we want to find that. Looks like that one. BG learn move. Great. And then move detail. Oh, see, we didn't delete it. I don't think we deleted it. Move detail. Oh, see, I'm being brain dead. Oh, see, it did. I'm glad I'm showing off all my errors here, just so if you guys run into something similar. No, BG move detail. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. I think that's it. So we changed the intro and we changed this sort of UI element when we're checking out the Pokemon. So let's go and see if that worked. Okay, so the first thing we want to look at is the intro. There we go. New intro. So you can adjust that to anything you want. I was just showing all of you what's inside that folder and how easily you can switch it. So if you want to add your own background to the game, you just need to make sure it's the same file type, the same name, and the size. So if you right click the file and do properties, it'll tell you what the dimensions are of the image. So when you make your own image, it needs to be the same amount of pixels. So we're just going to go in here and we're going to check out a Pokemon and it should look darker. Yeah. So now we got kind of matches Aggron here. I guess Mega Aggron. So everything looks like it's working. I named it correctly. So yeah, that's how you switch your UI elements. All right, so this part of the tutorial, I'm going to go over these folders and just kind of talk about them. I'm not going to go into too much detail. So first up is animated sprites. A lot of people talk about this. This is useless. This shouldn't even be here. This is for an older version of the game. So what they are animations of the Pokemon moving. Sort of like, I forget what gen it was, but when you first encounter a Pokemon and they move a little bit, that's what these are for. And you can see if you go to properties, this was made back in 2020. So the game used a different engine back then. I don't think there is any way of adding these to the game. So if I'm wrong, please tell me. Tell everyone how to get these animated GIFs, the sprites here, how to get them working. I don't think you can with the new engine. And animated sprites is useless. Another thing are eggs. So in the game, I know there are some custom eggs. There's a breeder you get an egg from, and it actually has a very unique sprite. But I honestly don't know where you put these at. The egg folder that is in the game, it doesn't have the custom egg that you see in the game. So I don't really know where you put these, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. So in the game, graphics, under battlers, there's this folder down here called eggs. And there's nothing here. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's even missing the egg that I'm used to. It's like a, I forget what fusion it is, but it's from the breeder that's part of the quest. You get an egg from her, and she has like a custom sprite for the egg. So let's go back and see. Okay, like jokes. This is all optional. So you kind of have to read. You kind of have to read. So these are usually like base sprites that you're going to be replacing. So from the name convention, you know, if it just has a single number here, it's not separated by a period. It means you're replacing the base sprite. And that's what all of these are. They're not fusions. So these are just meant to be funny, which is fine, but for the most part, you're going to be encountering fused Pokemon, so you probably won't even see those. Miscellaneous. I don't really think there's much to go over in here. There's some sprites that have been made to replace certain balls and stuff like that. Animations for the balls, but you're gonna have to go in there and rename them because they're giving credit to the person who made them. You're gonna have to rename them in the folder to their correct naming convention, so that they can work. So it looks like there's some custom Pokeballs in here. Not too sure what this other. There's some box art that you can switch out. Different cursor commands. Again, I don't know if any of these are going to work though. Because, let's see. Properties. Okay, this one's pretty current. So this is actually something you might be able to replace. But again, I'm not really going to go over that. I mean, following the tutorial, all of you should be able to figure it out now. What you need to do. Let's see. Triples. So I briefly showed that when I was showing the eggs, but here are different sprites for the triple fusions that are in the game. I'm trying to see if there's anything in here that would be weird. No. Well, I guess there is something weird in here, but let's see. Yeah, something like this, like, I don't know what that's doing. Just like an empty sprite there. No, all these should be similar. So, for instance, if you wanted to use one of these, you would just go back to your game, graphics. They're in the battlers section and special. So here are the triple fused sprites and where you would replace them. So we're going to go back and see if there's anything else. No, this actually might be it. There really isn't anything else in here that I need to talk about. All right, so that's it. Now this is only covering the custom sprite pack and what's included. You can go on the internet and find sprite sheets. You just have to make sure you're finding basically like fire red sprite sheets for this game. You can't just download any sprite sheet, rename it, and expect it to work. It needs to be the right size. So like for instance, we're looking at this guy here. You can go to properties, and if you go to details, you can see it's a 256 by 256. So if for some reason you were replacing this, you need to make sure it was the exact same size and the name. Okay, so now I'm gonna go over how to reset everything and get it back to normal. But there's two ways. If you have the preloaded version, only thing you gotta do is make a new folder, extract the game into that folder, and play that version of the game. You can even delete your original folder. Your save is not kept in this folder, it's kept somewhere else. So if you were to play a different game, a different extraction, your save will be fine. But that's for the preloaded version. Now for people who use the dynamic version, and these are the people that are downloading sprites off the internet. So the dynamic version doesn't have any images really for the Pokemon. It only has the base sprites and that's it. When you encounter Pokemon in the wild, the game will download that sprite from the internet. So if you're trying to reset your game and get everything back to the way it was because you changed a bunch of stuff, for the dynamic users that rely on download sprites, it's a little difficult. So I recommend doing this. So let's say I opened up the dynamic version of the game, the zip file I mean. I'm going to go into the graphics folder because that's what we changed, unless you change some music. If you change some audio, that's no big deal. I'll show you that, but this is like the main thing here. So we're going to go into the graphics folder. I recommend doing this. Selecting the animations folder, holding shift, and then left clicking window skins. We're selecting everything, and then we're going to control click. So the left control, we're going to hold that down and we're going to click Battlers, and we're going to select custom Battlers. The dynamic version of the game downloads to these folders, and we don't want to replace those because that defeats the purpose of the dynamic version and you lose all those sprites you downloaded. So after doing that, we're just going to hit extract to. You're going to find your folder. So in here, this is the original folder we've been messing with. We would go inside of it and select the graphics folder. And when you hit OK, it's going to ask to replace. So that's how you know you did it right, if it's asking to replace. So that should reset everything. And it's the same way with the music. We would just select audio, hit extract to, go back in here, original game folder, and we would just select, actually we would go back one. We would go to game because we are extracting the audio folder. We're essentially taking the audio folder and replacing our original audio folder. So selecting game and hitting OK, and it's asking to replace. So that's what you would do if you have the dynamic version and you're relying on the download sprite function. I think that covers everything. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below, but please be as specific as possible. That way we don't go back and forth where I'm asking questions for you to clarify. So give me as much information as you can and I will try to help you. This tutorial is going over a specific version of the game. So in the future, something may change and I will try to catch that and add that as a pinned message to this video. If you want to see any other videos made, please comment. I only made this video because there was a few people who requested it. So I thought I would please those couple of people and make this video for them. Please check out our other content. We play a lot of games, a lot of monster taming games, and we also live stream almost every single day. Please hit that subscribe button, if you want to see more content made by us, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Bye-bye.